Hi, folks. Here we are, one more week, as they say, under our belt, and we're in week 6 right now, or going into it, anyways. So, as far as EDU 706, it's all about community relationships, of course. And this week is based on relationships in itself. And to me, that's the most important title almost of the course. And what we need to do as administrators and lead teachers and all of who we are when we start working with our families and our community, and that means school community and the community at large. So relationships. And before I talk a little bit about that, I want to share with you, of course, what we have this week. You have a journal that you need to submit. And then I'm looking ahead. I'm looking on a little list over here to make sure I don't forget anything. And always look at your module too. Even though I say something, things do change, as you know. And I just want to make sure, we're on the same page. And you can always let me know if I miscued you on something, of course. But we're talking about a reminder. Oh, a reminder that what's coming up is your post-PESAL assessment needs to be submitted. Not this week, but I just want to remind you it's coming up, because I know you have to reach out with your mentor, because your mentor assessment is due too. But reach out to your mentor, because, as you know, walking into an administrator's office or the mentor's office, if they're not an administrator, and asking them for your assessment, number one, you should be sitting down with them and discussing it. And number two, you just can't do it at that moment. Give them a week or so if you can. So just upcoming that those are due. And as I mentioned, your your journal, and you always have your log, and then your e-portfolio is coming up. Again, not this week, but I just wanted to do that FYI with you to have you aware. Details, look at your modules, okay? So to get back a little bit about this week in relationships and building relationships, you have readings this week, and your discussion board is about relationships as well. And part of your discussion board is about talking about the rules of engagement. So I wanted to share with you an idea, if I was writing a discussion board, what I would be writing. And so here we go. One more thing, sorry. If you haven't completed the mid-semester survey, could you please do that? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, relationships, finally. What comes to mind for me is my first administrative job. I had been a classroom teacher at that point for 7 years, and I decided that I can be an administrator. I know I can. I was involved in reflective practice. I was involved in leadership committees and such. So, and I really enjoyed special ed as well. I had a lot of special education students in my classroom. I had taken, when I did my coursework, I took everything except for the internship, special ed internship, to be a director. It was just, special ed is a passion of mine. So I ventured out looking for an administrative job. And one of the ones that I came across was called a teaching principal. And so as a teacher, I was a special ed teacher in a resource room part of the day. And then the principal part was, I was principal part of the day. Well, I ended up getting the job, and I loved it. It was a little community school, and it was called the south part of town. And the school was a beautiful new school, and the clientele, let's say, was mostly socio-economically low. It was a Title I school. So think of all that mix going on. And when I got into the system a little bit more, I found out that you could call it the stepchild school. And so I really, after getting in there and realizing what was going on, I really had to support my staff, and I had to support my families, because the monies, when it came to budget, that school wasn't getting as much as other schools in the district did. And this school was on the outskirts of town. So it was like away from the district office type thing. So again, I started teaching and being a principal, which I had never been a special ed teacher. I'd never been a principal before, but I was highly engaged and loved my job and loved the students and staff. Some of the more affluent parents would come into my school and they would say, we're not getting our fair share. And so then other parents, they weren't coming in and saying that. They didn't know that they weren't getting their fair share. So what I had to end up being was build relationships with the whole school community, of course, and build relationships with the administrative team and with my superintendent to start saying, as a newbie, total newbie, start saying, I need more for my school, and this is why. So I started collecting data, and I started, listening to parent voices and such. And so rules and engagement there, I listened. I gathered data. I had a cause. I needed things for my school that they hadn't been getting because the person that was in the school before was only part-time. Part-time in that school, part-time in another school. My role, when I came in, I was full-time in the school, part-time teacher, part-time administrator. The year after that, my second year, they put my position to a full-time principal, which I got the position. So think of all the rules and engagement I had to go through and all the pieces I had to pull together and the relationships that I had to build to get what I wanted for my school. And ironically, I ended up the first 3 months, when I got the job, I ended up living in that town. I got an apartment so I could do what I needed to do for my school. Just a little story to let you know a part of what a rule of engagement was for me, or I should say rules of engagement. So I'll close. Again, my stories get long sometimes, but I hope the purpose is I hope they help you in your lives, in your readings, in your work, in your internship work. And again, check those modules, okay? All right, see you later and talk to you online. Take care. Be healthy. Take care of yourselves. All right, thanks so much.